a number of examples in energy and environment. You can have a number of examples in, especially now with adaptation with climate change issues. A certain number of people that are practitioners in a certain area have knowledge to share. Policymakers want to be informed, and as a consequence of that, there is a cycle, and people are at the core of that cycle. In what we looked at, there was a shift because we now require the participation of all people involved, regardless of where they are. Sometimes we have a soil scientist only in the entire organization. Sometimes we have 10 that are in different regions. But all the time, we want to make sure that whoever needs that type of expertise is able to access it. And so the participation of all involved is quite important. So today we're looking at knowledge management in a much broader fashion, in a much broader context. The second one is culture. And the second item under this category of people. Culture for us has been going, especially, and I'm sure you're much more sensitive even than we are on the issues of culture, because knowledge and the capacity to have solutions to certain problems very often was the most guarded of all assets. Was even more guarded than sometimes even financial consideration, funding, etc. Because knowledge is to a very large degree power. And so you really need to be at a point where you have done a quite intense campaign on culture in order to be able to create the kind of a more sharing-prone type of culture to be able to capitalize on the knowledge that is actually contained in a number of the people and experts and practitioners we work with. And then also that the generation of knowledge is now much more connected to the individual than it used to be. As an organization, for instance, we went through a very long period of almost a decade in which we didn't quite capitalize on the knowledge of the individual, but rather we established a system of brokerage in which knowledge was extracted, but very, very rarely returned. And so there was a process also of disconnect between the soil scientists and the effects, the practical results, the impact on the ground that those three soil scientists actually had. And that creates a fragmentation of the culture of knowledge sharing. Today we want to put the soil scientists in the center because, and those who work around the soil scientists, because it's really very, very important to consider how many others can benefit from that knowledge.